Hey guys, and welcome to
Days.
So, first of all, yes, I have had a haircut. It's WrestleMania season, so I thought I'd make an effort because God knows WWE aren't at the moment. It was bad, wasn't it? It was bad. Raw was really not great whatsoever. The frustrating thing is that this isn't a terrible WrestleMania card, actually. If someone had, given me this card a year in advance, there'd be a few matches that I would question and go, I wouldn't do that. There'd be a few matches I would say, yeah, I think that could be pretty cool. Shane McMahon versus Undertaker, who saw that coming? Brock Lesnar, Ambrose, be pretty smart. Charlotte, Becky, Sasha. But then there's a few that you would leave. Usos against Dudleys, no thanks. Kalisto against Ryback, nah. But let's get into Raw anyway. So, Raw opens up with Steph. And Steph says that there's no Hunter tonight because he's elsewhere, which I believe he was. She then gets interrupted by Roman Reigns. So, first thing, why is Roman using the ramp now? Is it because they want to show he's changed? Is it because they don't want to run the risk of superstars getting attacked? I don't know. I'm not sure why they've done it. I like it. Silly little change, but it works because you don't know where he's going to come from now. Is he coming out the crowd? Is he coming out the entrance? I'd like to see them mix it up, in truth. Promo was so much better this week. I am not marking out for Roman Reigns, but equally I will not write Roman Reigns off because anyone could turn around and become good. Ryback could cut a pipe bomb to rival CM Punk next week on Raw. Who knows? I know it won't happen, but if Roman can improve on his promo skills on the mic, then I'll watch him and I'll support him and I'll cheer for him and all that kind of stuff. What is holding him back is some stupid booking decisions, where he's being made to look too strong in certain situations, and then like in the Rumble where he's taken out of it for so long and his promos just don't ever connect, suffering succotash or whatever it was, some Looney Tunes reference that Vince gave him. But on this one, it was short, it was to the point. She goes to slap him. How many times have we seen Steph slap superstars? He catches her hand. That's the first time I've seen that happen. He catches her hand and turns around and says, "Looks like I'm the authority now." What a wicked line! Where's that come from? That's not Roman Reigns. I don't know who's giving him that line, or if he's just been allowed to just think for himself. But I was like, yeah, man, well done. That was really good. And I said as such on Twitter, I'll give praise where it's due. I liked this opening promo. It was short as well, and it got to the point, and then bang, we were into a match, and not just any match. We was into Owens against AJ Styles. It was absolutely fantastic, absolutely fantastic. It had a really good build to it. I think they went over several segments. I remember 2 ad breaks in particular. This match went on for a while. Got a feeling it went on to hit the 40-minute mark, I think. I know there were 3 matches in 2 hours on Raw. There was very, very little wrestling this week. Certainly at the start of the show. But this stole the show. But it was interrupted by Y2J, as we knew it would be. And, he came out and did his AJ Styles and all that kind of, mocking of the crowd and all this kind of stuff. Basically cost AJ Styles the match. It was a rubbish finish, to tell the truth. It was a really flat ending for a really great match. So basically after that we get Owens talking about how brilliant he is and talking about how there needs to be an opponent for him at KO Mania. And so he goes off to see Steph, and she agrees that there can be a triple threat match that's going to have Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler and The Miz. And it's kind of left at that. What I liked about this backstage segment, when he walks off, Owens, and he goes, say hi to Hunter from me. And Steph turns around and says, yeah, well, she just gives him a look, going, that's a kid to watch. And I liked that. There's been a few of these. Do you remember last week with Bray Wyatt in the ring with Hunter, and they had that kind of stare down? Wyatt basically saying, "I'm coming for you, belt soon." He's like, "Yeah, I like that." They're doing a few of these little teasy things, and I'm into it. It's just whilst I'm waiting for these things to happen, I'm having to sit around and watch Bubba Ray Dudley against R-Truth. I mean, there was loads of obviously promos and recaps and all this kind of stuff, but the next thing of note for me was the Ambrose Terry Funk. Now, I loved this little section, skit, whatever you want to call it, because it was backstage. Terry Funk is an absolute legend. He was, known for a time as Chainsaw Charlie, and he is the second person now to kind of gift something to Ambrose, saying that he's the future. So he gave Ambrose the chainsaw. It was a cool little moment. I don't know what Ambrose is meant to do with the chainsaw. Again, as I said on Twitter at the time, if Ambrose reckons that's how he's going to beat Brock Lesnar, he'll be looking at 25 to life, because I don't think that's, even in a street fight, I'm fairly sure you're not allowed to use a chainsaw. After that, things started to go downhill, and unfortunately started going downhill with the New Day. Now, I'm fairly sure this part of the review might cause a few of you to go, whoa, hang on, New Day are alright. New Day are alright, I'm a big New Day fan, but apart from pointing out that the word shame is in Sheamus's name, which I did laugh at, I did think that was very funny, this promo of theirs was one of the weaker ones. Snickers ad after that I thought was really cool. It had like Naomi and Alicia Fox, and then it had this makeup guy that was being really bitchy. Now, he might be famous, I don't know him, but he was like being quite bitchy about someone, and then he eats a Snickers and it turns out to be Natalia, and it's got that whole, you're not yourself basically when you're hungry. See, these ads work. I'm doing their bloody catchphrases. Next we had like Big Show come out, and he was telling us a story about giants, and apparently there's loads of giants, and the giants want to be the biggest giant, and if you're the biggest giant, you're the bestest giant, and if you could be the bestest giant, then you might be the most loved giant. It's just like, seems so long ago, that Owen Styles match. But anyway, Social Outcasts come out, embarrass themselves, don't like them anymore. I was big fan of Curtis Axel. I loved him last year when he was doing the Axel Mania stuff. I thought that was pretty funny, and I thought it had a place on the card, certainly with Damien Sandow by his side, or Macho Mandow I should say. Anyway, there was this interaction between them, Big Show, and you had Kane in there as well, and it was all to promote Andre the Giant Memorial, which could be fun, should be fun, probably won't be fun, and just result in someone we don't like winning, unlike the first year when it was Cesaro, but he's injured, so move on. Fandango versus Jericho. This was cool because it was nice to see Fandango, and it was good to see Jericho out there going, trying to win back a match that he'd lost previous. And he did, unfortunately. I was really hoping that Styles would come out, cost him the match, Fandango would pick up a much needed win. Didn't happen. It's a bit disappointing. Quite short, and it was just rubbish. It was all just rubbish. Next, I think we had the backstage segment with Reigns and Triple H. The reason earlier I was saying I don't think Triple H is there is I think this was pre-recorded. I think that just the feel of it felt to me pre-recorded. The fact that Roman was standing outside with the shutter down and they bringing the shutter up, and the fact that Triple H is there. If Triple H is there, they're going to use him. They're going to bring him out. There's no reason why you would not use his star power, and he would be happy to do it. Instead, this segment made it look like Roman was beating on a man in front of his wife, and I felt sorry for Triple H and for Steph after this. Next we had the Sami Zayn, Miz, Ziggler match, which obviously didn't turn out that way. Instead, Owens brings out Sin Cara, brings out Zack Ryder, and brings out Stardust. There was a cool little reference to El Generico in there, because he said this guy has been on the indie scene. He worked for years under a mask. Ladies and gentlemen, Sin Cara rather than Sami Zayn, because he was known as El Generico in the indie scene, and he worked under a mask. So yeah, you know, that was a cool little moment, and yeah, it kind of all broke down, big melee, and then obviously it's announced there's a ladder match. God, they could have picked some better people, really. Where's Tyler Breeze? Where's Bray Wyatt? Why is he not in this? I don't understand. Because he hasn't got a match anyway. Why not go for a title? A title that he's never had. He's never held a title. Next up we had Vince. Came out, said he was going to have a big announcement. That announcement turned out that he agreed with Shane that Undertaker was his bitch. Pretty brave. So that meant that if Undertaker didn't win, Undertaker would basically retire. This would be his last match. You have now been told that Raw, this is by Shane, Raw is, you know, no good. Ratings are down. Stock is down. Injuries are up. You know, it's just not working. Shane's told you that. But now you've got Vince saying that if Undertaker can't beat Shane, Undertaker's pointless, worthless. This will be his last match. So which one do you want, guys? Do you want a rubbish Raw, but an Undertaker's legacy to stay intact, or do you want Raw to improve? Maybe improve. Who knows? Might even just stay the same. It's going to be the same writers, isn't it? So do you want Shane to be around on Raw and no more Taker? I mean, I'm sure they could write him back in somehow, but you can't change the fact that he would have lost to Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. Just doesn't feel right, does it? Just does not feel right. What I'm going to do this week is I'm going to do quite a few videos on WrestleMania. I'm going to look at each match and talk a bit more in depth, because I could just sit here for hours talking about this. I've run a poll on my Twitter account, and I can tell you at the moment that people are siding more for Shane. Shane's coming out at about 45%. Undertaker about 37%, and then the rest aren't bothered in the match at all. So it looks like people want change, but we'll have to see. As I say, I'll do some videos on those matches this week, and well, yeah, I'm quite interested to see how that poll finishes. Finally, and I'm so pleased to say finally, because even just talking about this Raw has been difficult, but finally we got to Ambrose against Strowman. And it was just awful. It was just awful. You know, it got announced beforehand that Brock would be on SmackDown. Paul Heyman was doing commentary. The crowd started chanting, "This is boring." The crowd had been flat all night, actually. But then what do you expect? There was nothing for them to really get behind. There was just loads of, not much wrestling, loads of recaps. I mean, like, I think the worst part for me was looking at, like, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Jericho. That was talking about the Shane match, Shane Undertaker, and he said, this is, you know, you've got Shane coming back, that's main event. You've got Undertaker, that's main event. You've got Hell in a Cell, that's main event. You've got the control of Raw, that's main event. This could be the biggest main event of all time. And all I was thinking was, this probably won't even be the main event, because Triple H is there. Sure to God, he's going to make himself the main event, like the last match, the main event. So I don't even think it's going to make it to the main event. So Jericho probably could have saved himself a lot of bother, trying to promote this as the greatest thing that's ever happened in wrestling, when clearly it is not. Ambrose, Strowman finished in a DQ. I think Strowman won because Ambrose went and got a chair. I think it was a chair. It was just rubbish. It's just rubbish. I was glad it finished. You can follow me on Twitter at Wrestling Days UK. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, it'd be wicked if you did, so that I know that you can get these videos as soon as they come through. And yeah, drop me a comment. Let me know what you thought of this Raw, and let me know what you think of WrestleMania. And I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.